here from Stopbox with Alan Green on what is a pretty chilly day. We're not quite into the summer yet, Alan, but how are things with you?
I have to say, Mark, it's looking anything but summer here. It's been raining since about midnight solidly. It eased up for about half an hour earlier, but I'm looking outside and it's just relentless.
Mm.
So yeah. So better to stay indoors and look at the screens and maybe get engaged in the virtual world.
Get engaged in the virtual world or try and make some money looking at the screens, you know? That's always fun, isn't it?
It
If you
is,
can
yeah,
do
yeah,
it. It's not
yeah.
easy, but that's what we try and do with anyone who's involved in this game. And I mean, talking of that, talking of sort of making money, I know we're going to talk about a new company today, Silver Bullet Mines, over in the United States. That's based it's on the TSX and the
Yes, yeah.
OTC. So, I mean, they want to be making money. So, you're going to tell us a little bit about that. And then we're going to also cover GreenX and also a bit of a catch up on GreenX Metals, who had a bit of news this week as well. So, do you want to enlighten us on the Silver Bullet Mine story, Ellen? What you've learnt about that?
Yeah, it has been a journey of learning, actually, Mark.
Mm.
This company, well, as the name would imply, Silver Bullet Mines is completely focused on silver. But of course, when you mine for stuff, if you're looking for a specific mineral, other stuff will come out of the ground as well. But Silver Bullet Mines, as you say, they are listed on the TSX and the OTC. The TSX, of course, being the Canadian exchange. The share price low on the year is 0.09 cents. The high on the year is 0.23 cents, and we're currently at just 0.1 of a cent, or actually 10 cents, not 0.1 of a cent. At giving the company a market capitalization of 5 million Canadian dollars, which I think is a fairly derisory valuation given what this company actually has. So the company is focused on Arizona, and if you go to the website, you'll see that the company has four projects, but really the focus is primarily on the flagship project, which is the Buckeye or the Black. It's the Buckeye project based on the Black company's Black Diamond property, which is based near to Globe, Arizona, and that's situated several probably about an hour or so's drive east of Phoenix, the capital of Arizona. The company also has interest in Idaho. It owns an old mine there called the Washington Mine, and the Washington Mine consists of 118 acres. Again, situated about an hour and a half from Idaho City. And Washington, in fact, was a producing gold mine in the late 1800s. At the beginning of the 1900s, the 19 up to the 1920s, the silver mineralization was discovered there. And as late as the 1980s, some ore was shipped to the Hecla refinery there, which returned average smelter receipts of about 44 ounces per ton of silver, which of course is pretty good. But the focus, certainly for the last year, has been on Buckeye. Now, the Black Diamond property in which the Buckeye mine is based it's part of five historical producing mines within the Arizona Silver Belt. There are many other majors operating in the zone and in close proximity to Silver Bullet's Black Diamond property. These include Rio Tinto and BHP, the Resolution Copper assets, Asarco, and the Freeport Moran Miami complex, which is to the south of the Black Diamond property. Also, Silver One operating there in the Globe Hills, which is close by. Um, the company also has a processing mill, which was funded and built by the company. Funding was provided during 2021-22, and it's built. And in May last year, the company received cash of $225,000 against a first order of 500 kilograms of silver. And that was a real landmark for the company because the company then evolved from just explorer into producer. Now, on the website, if you go to the photos and videos section, there's a really good walk around video of the mill and the processing plant there. The company also has on the property, it has its own assay labs, so it's able to process the ore double quick time and also conduct its own assay work. And some might say, well, that's not strictly an independent assessment, but to be fair, the company has gone through many hoops to get the operation to where it is. And a few weeks ago, literally Jan 2024, the Mine Safety and Health Association, or the MSHA, approved Silver Bullet's training programs and operational programs for all the company's underground and surface operations at Buckeye. So that's a significant step, and it's a tick in the box for the methodology employed by the company to both process the ore and, of course, assay the ore as well. So I said the company, reached that threshold moment in May last year. During June last year, the company's mill was in full production, continual 10-hour shift processing. There was an issue in the middle of last year. It became extremely hot, and that hot weather disrupted production. Also, a severe thunderstorm started a wildfire, which also interrupted as well. During the autumn, an independent investor, provided a $350,000 loan over 5 years with no interest. And that obviously enabled the company to restart production and continue through. Now at the Buckeye mine, there are a number of other assets dotted around. One of which is an area called the Treasure Room, and it's adjacent to the mine entrance. But the Treasure Room asset here, assay results were pulled out in October last year, which delivered a set of assays ranging from 8.6 all the way up to 229 ounces per ton of silver. So a really significant find there. At the same time, after the disruption in the summer, the company raised $500,000 at 12 cents. So we're trading just under that level now. Worth noting. And a few weeks later, that same investor that provided that loan also shipped high-grade gold concentrate to the mill for processing too. So for the first time, the mill has been used for processing gold rather than silver. Then in December, the ante is upped again, because all the time the team are working on the mine, pulling the ore out. And in zone one, which is zone one within the Buckeye mine, the company pulled out a 40-ton sample, or a set of 40-ton sample, which averaged 24.2 ounces per ton, or the gram equivalent, which I think really puts in perspective, 829.7 grams per ton of silver across that sample, and that's pretty impressive by any standards. Then I think you interviewed, of course, Peter Clausey, the VP of Silver Bullet Mines, Mark, and a really seminal a piece of assay work. The company undertook some blast work within the mine to blast some ore out, and the company sifted through the ore, or the muck as they call it, and they delivered this bumper sample, which was 480 ounces per ton of silver. And there's a picture on the website, and indeed the news release, of that sample. It really is quite exceptional. So, the company has a fantastic asset there. And I think, as the company gets deeper into the Buckeye mine, and they start to bring more ore out, we'll probably see some other similar grades and come out with it. So either way, now the company's earning money from the mill. The investment into the mill is now starting to pay back. Added to which, it's mining the ore out, pulling the ore out. But also, I mentioned at the start, the Washington mine in Idaho. The company announced just at the start of last summer that the Montana University tests on some previous samples produce initial recoveries of 86.3 percent silver, and also and once the tests have been completed across the entire set of samples, the final results resulted in 62.8 ounces per ton of silver and 0.62 ounces per ton of gold. Um, on the back of that, the company employed a contractor to undertake work to examine the tailings at the Washington mine, which are close to the mine entrance. And of course, with modern mining techniques, as we've often said, it's possible to go back to an old mine and make new discoveries. So that's very much the case there. So we've yet to hear about progress from the company on the Ophir and Lone Mountain gold projects in Nevada, and indeed the company's black copper project in Arizona. But in my view, given this lowly market cap where we sit at the moment, I think the company's already producing revenues from the mill. The investment's gone into the mill. Money's coming back out of it. I think this company's got a really bright future.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Alan. Yes, I mean, I speak to Peter Clousey fairly regularly as they're going towards this getting into production of the silver doré bars, as he says, which are not the sort of 99.9. It's slightly below that grade. That's what they will then look to sell on. But yeah, I mean, things look like they're moving on, don't they? With his health and safety things they've got to sort out, considering the problems they had last year with some of the excessive heat that was in the state, which meant it was unsafe to work down in the shaft. So there's a few things they've got to do, I think, health and safety wise, but they're on with that and looking to get into pouring those bars any day, really, and getting that 480 result there was pretty remarkable. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. But as Peter Clousey says, he said he had a few minutes of, oh wow, that was awesome, and get right back at it. So
get right back at it. Yeah,
that's what he said. We get right back at it. So I'm sure we're speaking to him again fairly soon, and we'll see how they're getting on. But there's a picture there on the news release, isn't there? And you can really see it. It looks like pure silver, like you might hold a bar in your hand. So I think they're set up for a good few weeks, really, getting back into production. So thank you for enlightening us about that, bringing us up to speed. I mean, from your point of view, having sort of seen it for the first time, what does it sort of capture your imagination a little bit?
Absolutely. I think what impressed me as much as anything was looking at the company and undertaking a bit of research. The walk around video at the mill is very impressive. The equipment it's all brand new. And so it's got many years of life, and obviously with the clearance from the MSHA announced in January, it's really close to going to full scale production. So if we get say 6 months of uninterrupted production from the mine, then I think we're going to see some great grades come out. There are silver buyers. We've also got that investor that's also bought his own gold ore to be processed. I think the opportunity to scale up the operations there are huge. And of course, in scaling up operations, you're scaling up cash flow, which leads to a whole different ballgame. And I think I don't expect the market cap to stay where it is for very long. I think we're going to see some rapid growth in the first half of the year.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's catch up on GreenX Metals then. What's going on with these guys?
So when we last spoke about GreenX Metals, Mark, I explained the investment proposition. This is it's an asymmetric proposition, if you like. But if you look at the share price performance over the past year, it's a really good steady building chart. The company's got a valuation of 281 million Aussie dollars, so that's about 170 million sterling, and with good reason. The company is the former Prairie Mining, which had operations at the Jan Karski and Debiensko coal mines in Poland. And the company, along with many others, has basically launched legal action and arbitration against the Polish government which basically took the mines back without any notice. So all of the investment that had gone in was seemingly lost. Um, so this tribunal, it was taken on a no-win, no-fee basis, and there are claims amounting to £737 million for historical damages. Now, the tribunal undertook a 2-week hearing in November 2022, so not last year, 2022. There was no specified date for the result, plus also the results for any payment were kept secret. But this claim was part of a series of arbitration claims by various corporations brought against the Polish government since the administration change in 2015. So clearly, this is a process that international legal teams are looking at and seeing they have a very good chance of winning. We've seen other claims successfully prosecuted against governments in other countries around Europe. So this is one where I believe there has been a very successful outcome for the then Prairie Metals, what is now GreenX Metals, GRX. And I think, if you look at the share price performance over 2023, it tells its own story in that regard. So we're trading now at 53 pence, year high, of course, of 61p, year low of 31p. But the company, the investment proposition within the company, backed by that cash that I've just covered, relates to two major projects in Greenland. And of course, we've spoken before about Amaroq Minerals and the assets they have there, the Nalunaq gold mine and the other assets across Greenland, and also the willingness of the Greenland government to engage with commercial operators in the country to provide grant assistance, funding assistance, and of course the obligation on the companies to employ local people and local residents, which indeed they've done. And again, GreenX Metals has two key projects there. The first one is the Arctic Rift copper project right up in the north of the country, and investors following the company may remember last summer the company launched these incredible space age vehicles. They're SHERP vehicles, all-terrain vehicles. They were shipped in, bought into the port at Christensen, port of Christensen, I think in the Christensen Strait at the north of Greenland. And these vehicles landed and went across to the Arctic Rift Copper Project, and they were literally collecting lumps of copper from the ground, and they identified as well as a large amount of high grade copper sulfide mineralization. They also identified a native copper fissure at an area called the Neergaard prospect. And what this has resulted in is collection of what effectively is smelter ready copper. So the copper is of such a good grade and consistency that this could go straight in and be smelted and be used almost as you chip it off the land, which is again quite exceptional. So the company provided a summary at the end of January, looking at the developments in the Arctic Rift copper project. And again, the results of that work program that was undertaken last summer are still being assessed, and the next steps will be laid out. Toward the middle of the year as well, the company also entered into an option to acquire the Eleanor North Gold Project in eastern Greenland. Again, quite near to the Arctic Rift Copper Project, but a little further south. Option to acquire up to 100%. And this is what's called an RIRGS system, reduced intrusion related gold system. And this is similar in its geology and the nature of the terrain to the Donlin Creek projects in Canada, and also the Fort Knox and Dublin Gulch projects as well. Within the Eleanor North Gold Project, there is a prospect called the Noah Pluton prospect, and this has a geophysical bullseye, which is estimated to be some 6 kilometers wide. Added to which there is anomalous gold mineralization across the surface, some 15 kilometers in length. So it is absolutely huge. And what the company has done, it has employed seismic nodes across this area to determine the depth and the nature of this intrusion at Noah Pluton. The results are in, and we're expecting to get those to get the final readings and the data back from that in March. So we're about 4 to 5 weeks away from those results.
Mm.
So there's huge potential to come. We've already heard, of course, talking about Amarok Minerals, the huge potential there, and some of the grades that come out of the ground in Greenland. I think both through Amarok and other companies are simply exceptional. I mean, they're basically off the chart grades. So the expectation is, I think, that with the findings at Arctic Rift and the next steps there, followed by the data from the seismic nodes at the Inland North and the Noah Pluton prospect, we're going to get some really strong data, which will probably see the share price progress further on as we go through the year. But if you look at the GreenX Metals chart in relation to peer group, I think it's done exceptionally well. But the reason is it's that asymmetric investment proposition where they've got the outcome and the judgment and the funding, of course, in place from the judgment. The company currently has cash of just over $9 million in the account, so it's well funded for its activities for the foreseeable future. But of course, from that judgment, we may see further cash come in as the year progresses.
Okay, and we're looking out for the next sort of 4 to 5 weeks for that kind of first round of results to come in. So that's not too long to wait, really.
No, it's close by. It's close by.
Excellent.
So they will be in March. Yeah, 4 to 5 weeks.
Okay, good. Well, thank you, Alan, for updating us on GreenX Metals. Let's talk about first class then. First class metals.
First class metals. Unfortunately, not a first class performance from the share price. As investors who hold the shares, which includes myself, will know. It's had a pretty torrid few weeks since the start of the year. We're currently trading 3.6p, which gives the company a derisory valuation of just 3.5 million. But I think the work that Mark Sale and his team are doing at the prospects in Canada warrant a far higher valuation than we're currently seeing. But of course, that's the market has made that judgment, and that's where we are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, there's been some good progress from the company over the past few weeks. We had an update on right at the start of the month on the company's Sunbeam property. Of course, these are a series of prospects which are all sited on the north coast of Lake Superior. In fact, the Sunbeam property is further to the west than the others. But this is an historical gold mine where the company has undertaken some assay work and looked at channel sampling, or channel sampling work in particular, which has confirmed high-grade gold mineralization in the vicinity of the old mine workings. So we have tests on several prospects there: the Roy development, the Pettigrew development, and indeed the Roy development delivered some pretty strong grade gold assays, up to 18.8 grams per ton, with gold over a 0.3 meter channel. Then Pettigrew also returned some good numbers with a 13 grams per ton grab sample from quartz rubble dug up beside the stripped outcrop. And I think what these had done, as Mark Sale said, after bringing Sunbeam into the fold, the company's made good, quick progress. Really, the channel results have identified drill targets now at both locations, and the porphyry at the shear zone has discovered the shear zone really does put or underline and underscore the potential that Mark and the team believes is at the property. On the back of those results, First Class has staked 119 contiguous claims along the strike area to the northeast. So the company is still there working on the ground, and we'll get further plans and updates on that, no doubt, in the near future. So
Hmm.
following Sunbeam, we then heard on the following day from the company's joint venture up at the Pickle Lake project, which of course is close to a number of other projects. But this is a joint venture being worked with Palladium One. Of course, Palladium One, it's a joint venture. Palladium One are drilling in the area, and the eastern margin borehole, the drilling there returned 1.8% nickel and 1% copper over 1.5 meters. That's hole TK 134, but also identified a new nickel zone with intercepts returning zero point 0.4 nickel and 0.2% copper over 2.7 meters, but high readings over 0.9 meters, 1% nickel and 0.4 copper. So again, these are significant results, and it just further confirms the size and the scale of the nickel prospect across Pickle Lake, and of course running into Palladium One's territory nearby. So again, further news to come from that. And then most recently, of course, moving slightly further north from Hemlo, we have the company's Zigzag lithium project. So the company has undertook a mobile metal ion soil sampling program across the area, and the results from 64 and 68 soil and grab samples were put into assay, and the results revealed some pretty strong numbers, added to which they identified a second structure to the primary structure that the company were examining, and even the possibility of a third structure. So there are active lithium projects all around this area. We discussed this before. So certainly First Class, or Mark and First Class, are engaged in discussions with First Nations to initiate an application for an exploration permit to fully evaluate the new zones. But of course, we're just seeing the Zigzag lithium project growing potential all the time. But of course, with the story, it's all developments, but it's I wouldn't say it's jam tomorrow, but of course, I think the company's been judged on delivering some major results, and that's probably why we're seeing the slippage in the share price. But I think the sheer amount of work that's taking place in Canada across all of the First Class metals prospects, we're going to see some results. I would imagine by the end of the first quarter that will significantly change the perception of First Class as it currently stands, and also provide a significant uplift to the share price at the same time.
Good stuff. Well, thank you again, Alan. I think, yes, I do agree that the share price has come off a fair bit there, but I think that's also to do with the sort of the reduction of holdings on one of the big core shareholders from the start, which, as Mark Sale confirmed, was nothing, or not a bad reflection on the company, more a personal reason as to why that person needed to get some cash out. So, but when you've got a big seller like that, it will obviously put pressure on the share price, and the market will indeed take advantage. But they're still cracking on, aren't they, like you say? And it's good to hear things are going well, particularly at the Zigzag prospect there, with news only out this week, further news on that. And I think they're going to have a very active field season. That's definitely what Mark Sale loves best, is getting out and getting active, which is what exploration companies are all about. So thank you for reminding us of the situation with First Class, and let's see how they go throughout the sort of first half of the year.
Indeed. Well, I mean, Mark Sale is absolutely, he is Indiana Jones incarnate, isn't he? And when he's out there, I think also what the company does very well, in fact better than most, it articulates progress across social media too. We've seen Mark on the back of skidoos and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Traveling through the terrain, actually at a prospect, chipping away at the rock. So you get a really clear understanding of the amount of work that's going into it, and also let's not forget the remote nature of the locations they're working. I mean, some of the places they have to stay, some of the huts they have to stay in, it's full of wildlife, and that's what you have to deal with when you're a geologist working out in the field.
Indeed, indeed. Well, thank you very much, Alan. So enjoy your weekend, and let's hope we go into next week with some warmer weather, perhaps some warmer markets as well.
I hope so, Mark. Have a good weekend.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.